Okay, we're live. Right, hi guys, sorry for the delay and welcome to the Tuesday Tat Chat. We're having slight issues getting our guest on. How are you, Zahir, by the way? How you been?
I'm good. Just getting on with things. I
Right,
had a
hi
little.
guys, sorry for the
Oh, oh,
delay.
oh, oh! You got to.
That's me. We're having slight issues getting our guest on. Hang on.
Yeah, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Professional as ever.
Without fail.
I don't know what number Tat Chat this is, but to still be doing things like that, it's just.
You can't mute it until it starts playing.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
Right, well, before we get going, we have a guest, which is Ken Chapman. We're happy to have Ken back on for a catch up, but he's having trouble using the link to get into the chat. So I'll leave it for a minute and then I'll give him a call, see if he's worked it out.
Yeah, hopefully that'll work out. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Aha. Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah, am I on now? Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
we're live as well.
Out. Hi, everybody. What, you're already live, are you?
Yeah.
We've just gone live. Yeah, we've just gone
All
live.
right, hi, everybody.
Hello, Ken.
Hi, you all right, Z?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a while since our previous chat.
Yeah.
Lot of support for you in the chat as well. We've already got 81 people watching. So
Yeah,
That's good. I'll just turn you up a bit. I can hardly hear you.
Oh, really?
That's all right. No, I've got earphone in. It's all right. I'll just turn it up to full volume.
I'm sure my mic's going to do its Transformer impression at some point as well. But I'm not sure when.
Yeah, welcome along, everybody. While we just get ourselves comfortable, I'll just say a few hellos. Lots and lots of people chatting away. Sorry we were a little bit late, had tech issues as normal. We've got Steve Hicksey in there, Mr. Body Oil. Sounds interesting name. Was first in the chat. Adrian Davies, Red Dragons, lots and lots of people. Chelsea, hi mate, Richard Hale. Lots and lots of people chatting in there. Oh, Lonnie's in there again. Hi from the US. So yeah, we don't actually have a subject. I wanted to get Ken back on because it's been too long and just have a catch up to see how Ken's business has been ticking along. So we haven't actually come up with a particular subject matter. So we're just going to throw it open to questions and have a chat, really. So how has business been? It must be months since you've been on the Hangout.
I don't know. I can't remember last I was on. Yeah, it's been all right. It's been pretty busy. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I think I'm up to over 5,000 listings now. 5,300 I'm on now. So
wow,
it's getting up there. I'm working my way through the postcards, so the listings are going on thick and fast now. You know.
That is insane. That must be like a psychological win, mustn't it, to get to like over 5,000? Because that's such a substantial number.
It is, because I'm selling like 70 to 80 items a week, so it's hard, you know.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely hard because then you're kind of like running to just replenish what you've sold.
I put 200 on last week and like a net gain of 100. So, you know. Yeah, we're doing I do a lot of listing because we do like a little hangout now, a few of us, Les and Anthony and that. We do hangouts late at night and we just sit there listing. That's all we do. We list all night. So it has really helped. So I would recommend it actually to other people. If you've got a few friends, just get together and have like a little listing hangout. And you can talk about the stuff as you're putting it on. And
do you find it helps production then? Are you more productive?
Oh, God, massively, because you're talking and listing at the same time. It's not like you're typing. So it's just like, you know, I've got my main screen on and I've got the hangout on my tablet at the side and I'm listing. And if it's something I don't know anything about, I've got Anthony there who knows all about the antiques. So I just say, what's that, Anthony? And he tells me. And some things that I was going to throw away, I've put on and they've sold. So, you know, it works. They're all doing it well. I mean, I think even Sam Latchford now is up to nearly 2,000 items.
Wow, that is an impressive inventory.
He's listed on there, you know, so it certainly works. I think Les is well over 1,000, so they're all listed like mad, you know. So I recommend it to anyone. That really have a little hangout, 2 or 3 of you. It just keeps you working. It's like being at work, isn't it? And just talking to your mates while you're at work, you know.
Just seen a question come up from Scott, actually, asking Ken any advice on
Scott's on the Hangouts as well. I forgot to mention Scott, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, saying any advice on speeding up the listing process. I mean, it doesn't sound like you guys would need any. I mean, if you're doing that much listing, that's pretty insane, actually. The severe amount of listing.
Well, it depends what I'm listing. If I'm listing mixed items, obviously it slows down a bit. But when I'm doing the postcards, it's pretty fast. I had a full album of military postcards, so they were all the same category, all the same item specifics. They were all unposted, so you don't have to keep changing everything. Then, basically, all you do is you just photograph them, and then as you're photographing them, you stack them in order of your thumbnails go on the screen on your photo file, and you just you load the first one on, you do it, then when you load the next one on, you delete the previous 3 photos out of your photo file. So always the first 3 photos that you're looking at are the ones for that listing. Quick, I did 148 in a night.
Bloody hell. That is insane. I tell
it's like
you what,
500 quid's worth of stock on there. They're only £3 postcards, but they're on in a night, they're done, aren't they? And they just tick away then.
I think that's a really good idea. It's just I'd be worried that I get distracted so easily still. I mean, I don't think I've ever listed 148 items in a night, or even remotely close. But
when it gets to
I'd be worried that I just get distracted because you know me, I get distracted very easily. So I'd be kind of
when it gets that sort of stuff, antique stuff, that's difficult because every item's different and you've got to look up the hallmarks, and then the next thing could be something totally different. That slows you down. But when you're doing a lot of the same sort of thing, like say you're doing wrestling figures, the way I'd organise it is I'd do all the Mattel first, I'd do the Jacks next, and sort of try and streamline it as much as possible. The ones that have got no issues, I'd grouped, I'd do those listings first, and the ones with issues I'd put towards the end, and just so you don't have to keep changing item specifics so much,
And would you say
your photographs as well? I do photographs now, so you don't have to crop them,
But I'd say, would you say you need to have obviously a lot of inventory to be able to, because obviously if you're settling down to do that much, you obviously need to have that inventory as well. I mean, I think that's one of my issues, that I don't have that. Well, if
you break it down big job lots, it's mainly when you break it down big job lots. But with postcards, it's inventory's never the problem, is it? Really, it's I've got thousands of things, so just keep listing them, and just keep putting them on. But they are selling a lot faster than they used to do. But I've started putting. I know it sounds daft, but I never used to put postcard really in the title, because you're in the postcard section. I just put Leamington Spa, such and such, real photo, unposted. But now I start each title with postcard is the first word. And I don't know whether it's just it's just coincidence, but it seems to have made a difference, because obviously with people the first thing they look for is postcard, isn't it, when they're searching? So I don't know whether that's knocking them higher up in search or not, because even quite mundane ones have been selling, not just the really good ones, So
are you finding
where the word is in the title, you think might make a difference?
Yeah, I think it may be because it's the first word, isn't it? I don't know I don't know anything about keywords, how they work, but I would just presume that when you search for something, I should imagine that the higher up nearest the beginning of that title it is, the more chance it has of getting found higher up. That's the way I would think of it anyway.
Yeah.
So it seems to be working anyway. So I'm going to stick with it. But I used to hate listing postcards, but I quite like it now. I've got quite used to it. I can just work my way through them.
Yeah, well, you can churn through them. It's been a long time since I've had a collection to sell, but they were so quick to list when I had those.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was catching up with the chat. We've had a few questions in. There was one I saw from Lonnie, Garage Flips in America. Ken is definitely long tail, as in a lot of your stuff sits for a long time. But he says, do you feel like your items are not price sensitive, but more they're just waiting for the right person? Is that how you...
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. But a lot of things do sell straight away. If you watch my sales videos, at least a third of the stuff has been listed within the last 7 days. So consequently, when you stop listing, that third of your takings is gone instantly. It just disappears. But yeah, it's like I could put a postcard on for 25 quid, postcard on for £3, but it would probably just take just as long to sell.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a good postcard and it's worth 25 quid, it's a good postcard at the end of. But if I underprice it, there's no guarantee that it'll sell that day. There's not somebody waiting around, oh, I want a postcard of a certain street in Darlington and I'm only going to buy it when it's £3. You know, it's just a case of you've got to wait for that person to actually be looking, feel the need that he's got to put something in his collection and do it that way, you know.
From my limited experience of selling postcards as well, I found the ones that went for really silly money were really obscure. So by the nature of, you know, some village in the middle of nowhere in Yorkshire, so it stands to reason that you've got to wait maybe 6 months for somebody in that village. Maybe it's a hamlet, so there's only 30 houses there.
Yeah.
You've got to wait for somebody who's lived there or used to live there to be on eBay looking for a postcard with 25 quid to spend. So it's never going to sell today, is it? Although ironically,
but then again, I've had a few that are sold instantly high priced.
I was going to say, ironically, some of mine did. I guess you got saved searches of those people that that very niche thing. So it's roundabouts, but it makes.
And would you say like having like that
£30 ones the same week?
Okay. You know? I just wanted to know, like, having that large inventory of postcards as well. Like, are you starting to build up like regular, like repeat customers,
multi-purchases of that? Yeah,
and like the same people coming back and buying more and stuff? Is that happening as well?
Yeah, you do get
that. That's quite a benefit as well, isn't it? I mean,
well, I'll just for all you lot at home, I'll just show you what this is. 2,000 listed postcards, what they look like. If you can see those albums there in that cupboard,
right?
That's 2,000 items in there, all listed. So when I say I've got thousands of items, it's not necessary that it takes up a lot of space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever been tempted to really specialise and just do paper ephemera or something like that?
Not really, because I like the other stuff as well, and the other stuff earns money. I just go with everything that I can get, really, but the postcards are available, and the return on the investment is really good, you know, once you build up to a certain level. But they're not the biggest part of my business. I mean, I've got 1,000 badges as well listed. So 2,000 postcards, 1,000 badges, about 500 die cast. So there's loads of different. I've got 500 tins listed. So you knock all them off, and I'm down to 1,000 items of mixed antiques. Not, you know, it's not like, you know, it's a lot of it's very sort of like in one group, you know.
Yeah. Have you still been buying? Have you been buying much this year yet?
Yeah, I've bought quite a bit, but I'm slowly working my way through the backlog. I've probably got 6 months worth of postcards to list, so
I know that sort of feeling.
Again, I'm on the anchor shop, so it doesn't make any difference. I just pile them on, you know.
I don't know if you saw my video the other day, Ken. I'm trying to get through mountains and mountains of electronics because my problem with electronics is I don't enjoy listing it, so it gets put to the side, and I've got about a year's worth of backlog. Which I tested most of it today.
Yeah, you should get us here down to list it.
That's a good plan. You free?
It'll probably still take you longer, Nick, to be honest.
We just set up the GameCube and be playing.
Yeah, exactly. We'd end up doing something completely different. Yeah.
Or stick it in a van and send it to Zahir and let him list it and split the profits.
Oh, I'd love to.
No, it's not going to happen.
I got to the GameCube today actually, and I used to keep. I had a little like disc wallet thing with a game disc from pretty much every system. So for when I pick up a PS1 or a GameCube or whatever, I had a grotty old disc that I could put in, and that has vanished somewhere in the move. You know, last year, it's gone. So I don't even have a disc to test the damn thing. It's so annoying.
I've lost the control to my TiVo box. I've had to phone them today and tell them it's broke. Can't find it anywhere. It's just disappeared into my stock somewhere, so I can't watch. I'm having to change, like when The Walking Dead and everything. I'm having to do it all manually. I've got no remote control at the moment.
I bet you posted it out in a tin or something.
It's gone somewhere. I don't know where it's gone. It's just disappeared. Can't find it anywhere.
Nightmare. Last time I spoke to you, I think, on the phone, you were auctioning off a load of silver bits. How did that go for you?
Yeah, it went very well, actually. I've not done a video on it. I've not really had time. I've been that busy, really, because I really hitting it hard this year. You know, I know I hit it hard most years, but I want to really push these listings. So the listings come first. I've not even done my sales video for this week yet. So anyone who usually watches it, sorry, but I'll try and get it done maybe Wednesday or Thursday. but obviously the listing's got to come first. So, but yeah, the silver did okay.
Did you get?
Obviously, I didn't get my buy it now prices. I didn't get some things. Nothing that I sold did. I think apart from one item did better than I had it up for buy it now. But I had it up pretty high on buy it now. Yeah. Everything was on top price. Still reckon I made over £1,000 profit, net profit. All of it. It was about £3,000 in the end I got back, I think, something like that. So, you know, even after fees, I think the stuff stood me at about £1,200. I think even after fees, postage, everything, I still made a clear grand on it in a week. But it's just a little change of direction. I mean, I'm still selling silver now, but I'm being a lot more choosy. I'm not going for all the flatware and stuff that takes ages to sell. And at the auctions, you always pay up for it, you know, because you never get it for less than scrap. Or very, very rarely do you get it for less than scrap, because obviously everybody else is bidding up to scrap value. So you've got to look for items that sell for more than scrap on eBay, because not all silver sells for its scrap price. Some silver sells because it's a nice item, just happens to be made of a precious metal.
Yeah.
It's a jewellery, say a gold chain, it might have 5 grams of gold in it that scraps for £50, but the chain might be 300, you know, because you're buying it as a decorative item. Those sort of items I'm still buying, but the sort of like the odd noddy bowls and mustard pots and salt cellars and things with dents in and stuff like that, I'm just steering well clear of now. I'd rather put my money into, like I say, a job lot of tree or something like that. I can get 20 or 30 items for £100 and knock them all out for 10 to £30 each, you know, depending on what they are. Just different better ways of spending your money, you know.
So what's your plan for this year? Are you still going to try and build up inventory? You were talking about getting a storage, weren't you?
I don't need to at the moment. We've had another rehash and we've got space. We've made space. My son was down last week and we've freed up loads of shelves, condensed everything down. So I won't need storage for a good while yet. And I am concentrating predominantly on smalls at the moment. So there will be some larger items, but most of it will be drawer items that will fit in a drawer, or a storage tub will fit 50, 100 items in, you know. So I don't think space is going to be an issue for a while yet. I was thinking of the storage unit. I mean, we've got a cellar, I've got a full-size cellar, but it needs drying out properly. You know, it needs work doing on it. It's not wet, but you wouldn't want to put antiques down there.
Yeah. You could get a couple of big dehumidifiers down there. That might sort it out.
I think it needs tanking, really. So it'd be a case of doing that or renting a unit. But what do you do? Spend £5,000 on tanking, or do you rent a unit at £1,500 a year? You know, It's 3 years it's paid for, isn't it? So I don't know. It's all up in the air that at the moment. I was going to go into storage, but if I can stave it off for as long as possible, I will do, because of the cost factor, you know. It's all about keeping them costs low, isn't it? That's the main thing you've got to do, really.
Got a question here from Southwest Sellers. He asks, Ken, I've got 1,000 postcards to list. Do you list on multiple listings to save listing fees?
No.
You do every one individually on its own?
No. You see, the thing is, if you're going to do postcards, anybody who's going to do it, you've got to really go all in. Unless you just sell the odd, like, really valuable World War I postcard, and then the rest of them you're going to sell as a bulk lot. If you're going to list them individually, you've got to go all in, and the only way to do it is get yourself an anchor shop and list thousands of things. It's the only way to do it. Multiple quantity listings will not work on postcards, because people buy the individual card and they'll only see the first card.
And they won't bother to go to the drop down and...
Yeah, they won't bother. Yeah. None of the big postcard sellers do it like that. You look at all the big sellers on there. I think the main guy, one of the big guys on there, is Andrew Richmond. He's got 80,000 on. All
so you wouldn't recommend it if it was, even if they were like similar subject matter? You'd only do it if it was separate.
I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do it, because you want each one to have its own individual thumbnail, don't you, in search?
Right. Yeah, because people will scroll through the images, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it worked. I don't know if you saw, but I listed some. I started to go through some of my personal collection of cigarette cards and list them. Ones that I'm not worried about keeping or completing. And I did a multi-variation listing on the card so you could pick out the number, and that worked fantastically. And they've started selling well. But you see, they'll search the set, and then when they
that's
find
correct, because most cigarette cards come in a set of 50, don't they?
Yeah, or 25s or whatever.
Yeah.
So that works really well for those. But I can see the point with postcards is it's the image they're after, so they want to see the individual thumbnail. So,
because what would you put on the title? How would you do it if you were doing a multi-variation? What would you do? 50 different Lancashire postcards.
Yeah, you'd need the village or town name in it, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but the likelihood of you having 50 of a small street in one place is not going to happen, is it?
No.
So your title would never make sense.
No.
You know, there'd be no keywords there for someone to search it, would they?
So you got to do it the hard way.
You got to do it the hard way. There's no easy ways with postcards.
Yeah.
But then again, I've a couple of weeks ago I sold 6 postcards, all for over £25 each.
Wow.
150 quid for 6 pieces of paper.
I mean, I actually remember Scavenger Life had a guy on that was big into his postcards, and he had like 50 or 60,000 listed, and he mentioned that how sometimes he would just run like odd auctions on them. So cards that were listed for like $5, with a couple of them, sometimes would just reach sky high prices that he would never have expected, and would sell at auction when they hadn't sold, after months or years listed normally. So
because you're in that last 7 days, aren't you, all the time then?
And like, so how important okay.
I was just going to say, we don't have the auction on our anchor shop. We don't get free auctions where they do in America, don't they? So they get 1,000 free auctions a month. Right. It would cost me for a listed.
It'd be interesting to know, like, do you have like a rotation type system, or are you literally still just listing and forgetting, like you say, or would you ever consider having like a rotation where if something's been there,
2,000 postcards, there's no point. There's guys on there with 80 to 100,000, so you just put it on and you just leave it, don't you? Once it's on, isn't it? What we're worried about? Is it a boat? Is it an album it's paid for?
In case you want it to go, in case you want it to go for whatever. Obviously,
one particular postcard, I'm going to pick one out
really
of 2,000 and say I really need to get rid of that Laurel and Hardy postcard I've had for 3 years.
Slash it by 50%.
No, I'm not interested. I work on a percentage of my total stock, so the higher the total stock I've got on, as long as my sales rate stays the same, I'm not worried, Quid last week. I did 1,400 quid the week before. Did 1,400 quid the week before that. And that's not including the silver. I'm not counting the silver because that was like a one-off sale. I think I've had 1 week where I've been below 1,000 since Christmas, and that was because I was ill and didn't list anything, So I just keep piling it on, and by the law of averages, the more you've got on, the more sells, So just keep doing that. Sure. Seems to be working, so why change it?
Marinello Mania's got a question asking, how many returns as a percentage of monthly sales do you get? Had our first
just
return...
let me have a look at my return rate. I couldn't even tell you what my return rate is. Just let me have a look now. I've gone to my eBay now. It's not high, I know that.
I don't know.
It's not high. I have had a couple recently. I had one on the silver auction because a guy couldn't read hallmarks. Couldn't read descriptions. Let's put it that way. He was unhappy that a silver item had other parts in it. It's,
there's no pleasing some people.
Well, what can you do?
I'm just going to dip in the chat and say a few hellos. We've got Texas Margaret in there. Hi, Margaret. JH Reseller, Flipper Spouton. Lots and lots of people chatting away. I did see some questions again.
My returns rate, by the way, guys, I've just got it up now.
Yeah, go on.
0.36%.
Wow. That's mega
548 transactions.
That is fantastic.
Considering I'm selling antiques, where like if I say it's good, somebody else might not think it's good. It's not bad, really, is it?
That's incredible. Mine's at about 2 point something%, which isn't bad in itself. But
I think mine's
actually. Yeah, but that's
so
really
I don't
good.
get a lot. I don't get a lot of returns at all.
I had a question for you, Ken. It sounds like a simple question, but it's interesting actually. How do you post the postcards? And I think that's interesting because I want to know: do you put an extra bit of cardboard in there, or do you just shove it in an envelope?
No, I have special envelopes. I'll just go and get one. It won't be a second. They're only behind me. Hang on.
Because when I do trading cards or cigarette cards, I always put a piece of thin card in to back it up. So I do it.
I put them in those, like a card-backed envelope. You can buy these on eBay in the hundreds. So the cardboard at the back, you have please do not bend on them. And then the postcard itself, I put in like a little plastic sleeve, and then I just put it in that and post it.
Just want to say, I think there's a bit of an issue with the chat for some reason. It keeps on connecting and disconnecting.
Yeah, I know.
So
that.
Yeah, I think a few people are having trouble with that. But
it's doing it for me as well. I don't know if the live stream is disconnected.
The live stream's taking a long while to refresh, and you get like an internal server error. Yeah, so people that are kind of refreshing and then getting. Yeah, I'm trying to look at it and it's not even loading up. I can't get the chat now.
Oh, so we're not broadcasting. Can people let us know in the chat?
Well, no, we are still broadcasting, but not everyone is able. Like, it was fine. Yeah, it was absolutely fine. And then I just get, like if you refresh, if someone refreshes, that's when it happens.
Gemma's just said it's a problem with YouTube, not just the chat. So I'm guessing one of YouTube's servers is playing up or something.
Yeah,
we'll plow on and see what happens.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I've just refreshed now and it's loaded it back up. Yeah, and some people can see it though. Some people can, some can't. I've just refreshed it again. I think all I would say is just keep on refreshing. Yeah, refresh the page twice and you should be good, says Joe Berman. And yeah, that's what I've just done and it's worked.
Yeah, Luke's just he says YouTube had an internal server error not specific to this stream. So yeah, we'll just ignore it, carry on.
I think we have to blame Ken for this, breaking the
fair enough.
The chat.
But I would say, like, if anyone is doing things, it is worth paying up for the proper packaging if you're going to do anything seriously, because the time that you'd waste cutting out bits of cardboard and what have you, just stick it in a plastic sleeve that cost me 4p. I think they are 8p each. They work out. I buy them like by the thousand. So,
if you're doing it,
it's like 10p on your postage.
I agree with you. I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing a handful of cigarette cards, and it's not really worth me investing in a heap of the envelopes. But when you can buy in bulk, it reduces your costs anyway, doesn't it? Makes perfect sense.
It just saves so much time. And I have the bigger ones for the prints. The prints that me and Steve got, the architectural prints. I have the big A4 ones for those.
You sold a lot of those now?
Yeah, I've sold about 800 quid's worth. I think Steve sold about 400 quid's worth. So our initial £30 investment's safe. Between us.
You're not going to lose out there, I don't think.
No.
I think it's a good point to kind of show that you've got the envelope and the sleeves already there, because it's just to create it creates that nice presentation as well when someone receives it. And hopefully you're building your client.
Appreciate that they took a bit of care, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly someone that's buying that kind of item will want to receive it in as good a condition as they can, especially if it's like dear to them, because like you said, you're selling things that are so unique to people, aren't you? Like you're waiting for for someone.
But that's why I always put them in a plastic sleeve. I mean, they don't necessarily need to go in a plastic sleeve. That envelope's tough enough, but I always think, like, what if it's raining the day the postman delivers it? The thing's made of paper, isn't it? So any rain that soaks through the envelope, suddenly it's going straight onto the paper, rather than the plastic sleeve would protect it to some degree, wouldn't it? Really, if a couple little spots of water went through,
it could ruin it for someone.
Well, it could, because the envelope would stick to the image, and as they pulled it out, it could pull. It could be a disaster, couldn't it? I know it's only for like £3 and £4 items, but every customer, whether it's a small sale or a big sale, they should get the stuff how it's described. It should get to them in that state, really, shouldn't it?
Definitely.
I was going to ask you, Ken. Oh, I thought that was a sale coming in. It's only a DVD, nothing exciting. Have you seen your passion for this since you've been doing this you're not quite full time yet, but near enough. Let's say.
Yeah, well, I am full time really because. Oh, sorry, Nick.
I was going to say.
Sorry, you go on.
Let me ask the question.
Yeah.
Have you seen your passion for the whole, reselling thing from sourcing all the way through to selling? Have you seen that wane at all, or have you seen it increase now? You're putting more of yourself into it.
Yeah, it's increasing if anything. Yeah, but when you say full time and part time, I do more than 40 hours a week at this job, so that is full time to me.
Yeah,
it's just that I happen to have another job as well. I just
don't
stop working.
I think you were doing what, 1 day a week now, taxi driving, or not?
3 nights.
Oh, you're
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah,
okay.
Do 24 hours. I do 60 hours at this, and then I've got my painting. I've been working on painting today, so I've got that as well. My painting work, so
bloody
I never stop really.
Hours in there, aren't you?
Well, when I finish this painting tonight, I'll list about 40 or 50 items. I've got to do it. It's like I just feel like I've got to do it.
Are you actually sleeping at any point?
Yeah, I do sleep. Yeah, but I sleep when I'm tired. Just keep going, don't you?
Yeah.
I used to have a problem with listing at one time. I used to think like if I did 40 items in a week, I used to think that was like a big effort. But now it's like nothing.
What do you mean it's not?
I said 40 items a week, Z, not 40 items a month.
Oh yeah, that's probably more accurate. Yeah.
No, you just get. Now I get a tub of stuff, and I tell you what else I've been doing as well. I mean, you're probably doing this as well at the moment, Nick. It's just like I've got stuff that I've got it back from the auctions over the months and the years, and I've cherry picked what I think is the best stuff out, and then there's like these little boxes of stuff that you're not really that enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
But I've just been ploughing through them, not even thinking about it, just listing one after the other, just putting them on, and I tell you what, a lot of it's selling.
Yeah. That's exactly what I've been doing for the last, since New Year, really. I've been trying very hard to say, if I pick it up, I've got to sort it out, photograph it and list it. And with this, all of this has come out and it's not going back on the shelves until it's listed.
Yeah, you just got to plough through.
It's creating a nightmare at the moment because I've got nowhere to package. I've got nowhere to move. I'm having to be that rigid with myself because I know what I'm like. I'll just put it back on and forget about it for another 6 months. So
yeah.
But you're right. There's
that's what I'm doing.
That is going to net me a lot of money. It's just stuff that I don't enjoy listing, so I avoid it. And it's the way to be. It really isn't.
Trek job lot in the summer that I bought. I pulled all the best stuff out because like editors' storyboards, the hand drawn ones, all that. That all went on. The action figures went on. Mostly, I think all the action figures are gone now. The storyboards are still here because consequently they're the dearest items. The handwritten and editor's notes on them and stuff like that. But I had a load of other stuff like Buffy calendars and Buffy jigsaws, all sealed. And they were just in a box over there. There was a thing that I sold at the weekend as well, like a Deep Space Nine paperback that had been signed by the author. So I bagged that on auction, £9.99 start. It's all profit anyway. That went for 26 quid on Sunday, so I was well happy with that. The Buffy, I was just one night, I was working my way through it and I thought, oh God, this sealed Buffy thing, I just put it on for 11 quid. And before I'd finished the next listing, it had sold to somebody in the global shipping. And it'd been sat in a box over there for since my son photographed it in June.
Yeah.
A box photographed on me to be listed shelf since June. I put it on and it sold in 10 minutes.
It's fascinating,
isn't it? Only 11 quid, but 11 quid's 11 quid, isn't it? Plus postage,
That's what's great about the stuff that, like you say, sits around and it doesn't really owe you anything. You've had it for ages. Overall, you're in profit on all of your stock on the year, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
So this is just like a bonus. And then you stick it on and it sells within a day and you think, why have I sat on that for a year? If it
doesn't make sense, does it? It really doesn't. That's one thing I think we all as resellers, we fail at really to one degree or another is, we buy the stock, but we don't process the stock 100%. Really, I want to get to that stage where I'm bringing it over from the auctions and I'm not going to another auctions until I've listed my way through it.
Yeah.
And anything that's not suitable for listing either goes back in or gets sent to the charity shop or something.
Part of how my model's always been has always leaned towards building up stock and then selling it through, because like I was when I was chatting to Steve, I went on Steve Raken's channel and I chatted to him, and I was trying to explain that a big part of my business model is I pick up my stuff in the summer. That's when I can fill the car up every weekend, and there's no physical way I can list it all. So I do have to have some sort of build up and then a sell off. My problem is that my sell off period is never long enough to get rid of it all. So I have a continual year on year build up, which is what we're trying.
Well, I'm trying to stop all that, you know. I mean, I'm just looking at tomorrow's auction here, and there's, God knows, there's over 400 lots. There's 408 lots for me to go at tomorrow. That's on every week, and that's just one auction, and it's all job lots. So there's no shortage in the supply chain. I don't have to worry about that because I'm not like you guys. If I go to a car boot, it's just for a day out. Me and Steve, we go up to York or something. It's for a day out. We're going to have a laugh. Might spend 500 quid each, but we'll have a laugh. You know, it's not like desperate. We're just going out for the day out, but a profitable day out.
Where you slip that in. Oh, we might spend 500 quid. We're just having a look around.
We like to spend up. We've got big plans, me and Steve. World Antique Domination's coming in Lancashire, but but the thing is the most of it we can get from the auction, and like Steve's got his local sources all sewn up, you know, so he picks a lot of stuff up there. But the supply, I don't have to worry about the supply. Let's say that. So all I've got to worry about is the basically that's where the log jam is get it all on, because it can't sell till it's listed, can it? Trying to get better on that side.
Yeah, it just came into my head that we didn't manage to get out for our walk. I was inspired by Zahir. Who's Zahir? By Zahir and Beck going out early and walking every day. So Andrew and I started. We managed one day, and then today.
Yeah, it's a good idea that I need to start doing that. I used to be a big walker at one time, and since I stopped walking, I mean, I used to do a lot of hill walking.
Yeah.
Believe it or not the size of me now, you won't believe it, but I used to do a lot of hill walking. And since I've given it up, and then now the dog's died as well, you know, it's sort of like lack of exercise, even worse. But I think I might start doing that. Get up half an hour earlier, just go for half an hour. Just walk down the road, 15 minutes one way, 15 minutes back, and see how much further at the end of the month you can get by doing that, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, even
well, you can see it in your face. You look like you've lost a bit of weight. You know, you look a bit fitter already.
Is it back yet?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah, no, we need to we were even taking the girls with us, even on school mornings. So they're going out for a walk before they then go off and walk to school. So, you know, they're getting.
It's good for them. It's good for them, especially where you live. It's a nice.
Well, it's a shame to waste it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna just not do anything, then there's no point.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Well, I think it is a genuine concern that when you're self-employed and working at home, especially with an online-based business, you find yourself sitting down you're doing lots of work, but you're not necessarily getting your
hours on end as well, isn't it? You know.
And absolutely, you know, I used to be out of the house a lot doing outside things and other jobs way back, and I was really fit and healthy compared to what I am now. I luckily don't put on lots of weight, but I'm really unfit. So we're trying to challenge ourselves to just filter in some habits that are, you know, get our heart rate up essentially.
Yeah. Well, Z, where he lives, he's lucky because it's all quite flat. Where I live, it's like, apart from the main road through the village, it's all every other direction you go, you're up a steep hill, you know. So I have to start off on the flat really till I can get up to a certain level.
Yeah. Because
I think if I walked up some of the hills around here, I probably wouldn't be coming down. Probably in an ambulance or a hearse if I did.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's a comment. CP Crafts and More says, "I walk the kids to and from school, which is 1.5 miles there and back." So if you can have that as a habit, something that you have to do, that's perfect.
It's only an hour a day, isn't it, maximum? That, so it's not that, you know, you get it done. It's just comes part of your day, doesn't it?
Exactly. Oh, we've got Chris, Bonafide Hustler in. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the chat. I can't keep up. There's so much. Southwest sellers spent £700 at auction today.
Oh, nice.
Your chat, is that before or after? I can't even. Yeah, it's difficult to keep up because it keeps on disconnecting as well. There's a question here from. Oh, where's it gone now? Carp Fishing Adventures ask a question. Ken, question for Ken. What sort of turnover would you need for around 50k profit? So like, or basically,
probably
what
about
percentage?
Well, it'd be over the VAT threshold for 50k net profit. I would probably need, I reckon, about 2,000 a week.
So you're getting mighty close then.
Well, you're over the VAT threshold. VAT threshold's 1566 a week.
Oh, okay.
So you'd be into the VAT then by then. Yeah, because you think about it, if you turn over 2,000 a week, you've got £200 eBay fees, £60 plus all your 20p's for each transaction in PayPal. So then you're going to be looking at 300 quid in fees straight away. So you're down to 1,700. If your stock is 4 times, if you go out and spend 500, it turns into 2,000. There's 500 quid for stock. So there's 1,200. And then you've got your petrol and all your other bits and pieces. I bet you wouldn't be far off £2,000 a week to do 1,000.
So I'm not laughing at what you're saying, by the way. Can I just have to point out Higgs's comments in the chat are as usual, they're on point. He's talking about how he gets his exercise. I'm not going to read it out, but
I can imagine with Higgsy, it probably involves several rubber items. I should imagine with it. So.
You're not far off what he's getting at for his exercise, but I just wanted to put it out.
I don't know what Steve gets up to. Yeah, but you probably need to make safely £1,000, and even then, when you think about it, you're making £1,000 net. You'd be paying income tax on that as well, so. You'd be down to sort of like, you'd be in the 40% bracket. So, you'd be paying a couple £100 a week tax, wouldn't you, on that? Easy. Probably maybe nearly 300 with tax and national insurance. So, you need to do a fair chunk to make £1,000 net actually in your pocket to go and do what you want with. It's a serious amount of money,
I just saw a comment from Steve Green, Ken. That £500 you said you might spend if you went to the auctions. That £500 spent in the pubs. That's what you weren't telling us.
Oh no! That's just purely on stock. Entertainment may be another £100 to £200 on top of that if it's a full day out, depending where we get to. Could be even more.
So I'm just looking in the chat still. Ads is in now, I believe. Oh, I can't see any comments from him. Oh, there he is. Hi, Ads.
Yeah, chat's disconnected again, and we're having a bit of an issue with the chat here. I think there's someone in the chat who's just mentioned they must be the newest resellers in here. I think Big Mac 4061 says, "Good evening, guys. We must be the newest resellers on here. Just started yesterday. Wish us luck." And there's a lot of luck being wished upon them by the community. So, and Bug Chick says, "Good luck, Big Mac. I'm waiting for my daughter to move out this week so I can take over her bedroom for stock before I start." So,
planning your storage sorted out first. Yeah. And also, when you first start, don't panic when things don't sell, because it does take a while to build it up. It's moving items, it takes a while, doesn't it? It's nothing's instant in this job. It takes ages. Once you get to a certain level, though, it's not too bad. Then it sort of like ticks over nicely, then, doesn't it? But at the beginning, it is tough.
Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to. I've managed to lose the chat, and I tried to refresh, and I've lost the whole thing. So
there's a question here from Ant asking, "Ken, do you think you will beat me to 10k listings?"
Who's that, Anthony?
Yeah,
I'm 4,000 in front of him at the moment, but judging by the amount of stock he bought at Silverwoods last week, he filled a van. He bought half the auction last week. He filled his van right up. The amount of stuff that guy buys is incredible. You know, absolutely incredible. He's a serious buyer. I left early, but Steve was telling me, because Steve was there as well, that he bought half the auction. So, you know, he buys everything and anything.
Be a close run race then, maybe. Yeah, there's people are still having issues with their notifications, which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah.
I can't get back into the chat at all now. I've got internal server error.
Oh, and apparently there's money on this as well. Les has just said that there's 100 quid on that for Ken
Les
to win.
Les has backed me foolishly, or maybe not. I don't know.
Are you feeling the pressure?
He's backed me to get there quick. You know, I think I'm up to 5,300. So I've only got 4,700 to go. But the trouble is that the more I'm putting on, the faster it's selling. It's not a trouble. It's great.
That's a great trouble to have. Yeah, I mean,
it's just, you know. I mean, if I could get to 10,000, and even if I'm behind him at the end of it, I'm not bothered, because I've got to 10,000, and it'll help my business, won't it? So
exactly,
whichever way it works out, it's all positive, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
You know.
So is this a buy it now listing competition?
Yeah, Anthony lists on auction, but what he does now is, if it doesn't sell, he flips it over onto buy it now, rather than re-auctioning it again. Because what he's doing now is a lot of his stuff, he's not starting it at 99p like he used to. He's starting it at like 4.99 or 5.99. So consequently, the sell-through rate drops a little bit. Those ones that don't sell, he's putting on to buy it now, and he's building a store up with the buy it nows, because they're already listed, aren't they? It's just a flick of a switch to switch it over to a buy it now.
Yeah.
What he's doing, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I wonder what the change of heart was from the 99p method, because that was his tried and tested method.
I don't think he's had a change of heart. I think he just wants to work his way through this backlog, and I just don't think he necessarily wants to give it all away. You know, I think he wants to sort of like be ticking over. He's still doing all his other stuff, his jewellery and some serious numbers on jewellery and gold and all that sort of stuff. He's still doing all that, but this is the more my sort of stuff, if you know what I mean, like postcards and badges and small antiques, costume jewellery.
Yeah.
So it is really better to sort of like not start at 99p, because it could finish at 99p, you know.
Well, that was always my concern with that whole model, because for niche items, if you trap one person to it, the one bid's never gonna, you know, get you beyond 99p.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You see, before what he was doing was he was building a backlog up, but he was cherry picking like we all do. He was cherry picking all the bankers out of it. All the whole wins were coming out, and you can start them at 9p. You know, you can start them at a penny, because they're going to go for good money.
Just got the chat back. Sorry, guys. I've been trying to get the chat to work. The picture's been working for me, but then the chat disappears. So
yeah, mine still. No matter how many times I refresh, I can't get the chat up.
Yeah.
Error.
Mark Dando asks, can anyone tell me what a Disney exclusive Princess 4 in a row in gold is worth? Brand new and unopened. Like anyone will tell you, Google it and check completed listings on eBay, see if anything comes up there. That's the best way of finding out its value.
I haven't got a clue with that one.
Yeah.
You lost me at Disney Princess.
Yeah, well, apparently it's in gold, so I don't know if it's actually made of gold or is it just in gold.
I should imagine it's not made of gold.
Not made of gold, yeah, exactly.
I should imagine it's just sprayed gold.
Not 21 carat or 18 carat yellow gold. It'd be quite valuable, I'd guess, if it was. And says I'm selling different stock. A lot still does do 99p at auction. And I think
he's working his way through his backlog. He's got an absolutely massive backlog of stuff to work through.
And Richard Payne says, I struggle to keep my listings above 300, ploughing through 400 print toners I bought 2 weeks ago, which should boost my inventory. Richard, I mean, yeah, everyone's different. I mean, I myself always struggle with my listing. I just do. I shouldn't.
It depends what you're selling as well. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, actually, just to kind of reiterate that point, Kyle Roberts asked that he did £100 this week. Is that good for 25 listings? Like you just said, it depends on what you've got listed.
It's so dependent on what you're selling. I mean, I buy postcards by the album, so I I buy an album of postcards, say I pay £100 for it, but there's 400 items in that album.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Do I sell it as an album and try and make a little bit of profit, or do I break it down into its constituent parts?
Yeah.
And that's basically all I do, you know. So you say you've got 1,000 items, but I've not gone out and bought 1,000 individual items. I've just bought one item and broke it down into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's such a movable feast that there really isn't like a one answer fits, one answer fits all. I mean, like I always say, I mean, if you came across like a lorry of iPhone 7s, you wouldn't need to have more than 10 items listed to be doing £6,000 turnover in a day, let alone a week.
Because it's in demand, and if you price it at the bottom end of the scale, if you're the lowest price seller, they're going to go, aren't they? Because everyone who buys one that day is going to buy yours.
Yeah.
So
that's why it always becomes difficult to answer the questions, what's the best way of doing this? What's the best way of doing that? Because I genuinely have always said there isn't one. There's methods that people choose because it suits them. There's methods that people choose because it suits the stock they have, the turnover they need, whatever it is. So there's no right and wrong. And that was, I think that was always the issue, that when there was a whole buy it now versus auction discussion, the problem was that it doesn't really matter. You do what suits you and what works for you. That was what I was always trying to get across. I think I'm glad everyone's, figured out that they just need to do what suits them.
Yeah.
Just do what you feel's best, and also don't be afraid to chop and change it. If one thing's not working, try something else or mix it up.
Yeah,
do a mixture of buy it nows and auctions. Do a mixture of long tail and short tail items. Just, what you've got to do really, I find, is find the value when you buy the stuff. That's the main thing. The rest of it is just the work you've got to put in, isn't it? So try and be sensible with your buying rather than don't worry too much about the selling side. It's the sensible buying that's the key to it.
Yeah, and you experiment and you pick things up. I mean, like Vinny's just said, he's on 1,200 listings and he's selling around 15 items a day. And the weekends he can hit 30 items a day, so he finds it difficult to build inventory. But on the other hand,
he's such fast-moving stuff. Yeah.
And on the other hand, CP Crofts, literally the next comment after that is, that she struggles to stay above 300, but she relies a lot on quick sales. So. Again, it's all what works.
Horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah, you've just got to try different things.
I've just sold literally that ka-ching. Then I've just sold an RAOB medal, and there's no demand for them really. It's just they sell when they sell.
Yeah.
But I bought it cheap. Oh no, it's cufflinks actually. RAOB, that's even worse. RAOB cufflinks, gold plated. Somebody's paid £30 for them. So
Callum's just asked me, did I clean the GameCube yet? I haven't, because I wanted to see if it worked before I tried to get all that disgusting, stinky grime off it. And I can't find my GameCube disc that I have somewhere to test it with. And I'm not cleaning that and then finding it doesn't read discs. So no, it's a quick answer.
Apparently, Les says Z tell Nick to try the pop-out chat.
I refreshed it for about the 10th time and it came on.
Oh, no, like, you can get the chat to pop out right at the very top of where it says live chat. There's like 3 dots. And if you click that, there's an option which says pop out chat, and it'll actually pop the chat out into its own window. So that might help, because apparently that's working fine.
Oh, okay. I never even knew that was there. Oh, yeah, I've got it now.
Yeah. So
it was working normally, but I've got a pop-out version now.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah.
I'm so crap with all this technology, really. And now you were telling me that they're going to do away with this.
I don't know if they are. I don't know fully, but every time I join the Hangout, it says that Google Hangouts will no longer work after April the 20-something on YouTube. So I'm guessing it will. So there you go. Let's have a look.
Did Margaret manage to use the software you used the other day?
Oh, kind of, but I think she needs to lower the bit rate because I think her internet connection wasn't looking too hot. It was a bit slow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she ended up having to go back onto Google. There we go. Yeah, it seems to be working okay now, so pretty cool. Ads is in the chat as well. Just noticed.
Oh, hi, ads.
Kyle Roberts says, "Hi Nick, I got a steam cleaner. It helps to deodorize and clean. Great for plush."
Oh, we've got a steam cleaner. Yeah, Andrew uses it for clothing mainly.
Oh, okay. And Pete Cottrell's got a question. If you list something as good till cancelled, do you have to pay every time it starts a new 30-day cycle? Yes, yes.
Yeah, you do. It's the only difference is you don't have to relist it; they relist it for you, but they still charge you. That's where they get the money from, isn't it? The listing fees or whatever.
And the worry with that, I think, is you can easily lose track of an item that way, especially if you've got a larger inventory. And if it just keeps on refreshing in the background without you.
Well, I've lost a few doing it manually as well. I don't know where they've disappeared to, but I've had several where I thought, hang on a minute. A weeks ago, I was looking at Neil Borden's sold, and he sold a helmet that I've got one virtually identical to. And I thought, same price as well. I thought, why is this sold and mine's not? And I checked in his store, it wasn't even in the store.
Right.
So God knows how that's dropped off somewhere. It must have been when I did a manual relist, one dropped out somewhere, you know.
Yeah, it happens.
Somebody was saying in some comments of a video I had, I found a big job lot of Nerf that I knew I'd listed, and it just wasn't on there, and I couldn't find it.
It's happened 3 times now.
Yeah.
Three different items.
I think things just
items as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that can easily happen where you just sometimes you look at an item and you're like, I'm surprised to see that still there, and then you check and it's not listed for whatever reason again. Even though
that gallery plus glitch a couple of weeks ago, I had that a few months ago, and ended up listing about 50 items with gallery plus before I realised.
They charge you the extra.
Yeah, and it's like I listed 2 categories. It was like £4 a listing.
Yeah, we used to come across that if we were using a template or selling similar, and then we changed the category to a different. This was when Andrea was doing some clothing, and you switched it to a different category, and then they charged you like £1 something to have gallery plus. And we didn't realise for like a whole day or something, and I had to ring up eBay and get them to refund all the fees.
Well, that's what I had to do. I had to ring them up and say, look, something's happened here, because I never use Gallery Plus.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we had that.
You've got to be really careful. Another one I've been noticing recently, sometimes when I've been doing the listing, I don't know whether it's because I've copied it like off. So, you do like you go to somebody else's listing, you sell one like this.
Yeah.
It's shown that I take credit cards. Which I don't. I take personal check. I take PayPal. I don't take credit cards, but there's actually a box there to check for credit cards, and that was ticked. So little things like that, happen all the time. Little glitches in the system, but some of them can cost you money if you're not careful.
Yeah, I've made cock-ups when I use Sell Similar, and I leave certain things checked that I wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
Or they don't have pay immediately on, which I love.
Yeah.
I love you have to pay immediately if you buy my stuff, and some people don't have it. And if I choose to do a Sell Similar, they don't have it switched on. I then wonder when somebody buys something why they haven't paid for it.
Yeah, because I used to get it when like I'd be listing postcards, 95p postage, and suddenly I think, right, I'll list a few bit of something different now. I start listing real heavy stuff that's Parcel Force 48, £15 postage, and forget to change the postage, and suddenly I'm selling it, and it's got 95p postage on it. I've had that a few times. You've got to be really careful, haven't you? You've got to. I think, even though I do a lot of listing, once you start making mistakes in a listing session, that's time to switch it off and forget about it then for the day. Oh, you're tired then, don't you, when the mistakes start coming in thick and fast,
That's what I was going to say, yeah. I get that at the end of a long day, or if I'm really not into it and I'm just forcing myself to it's like, that's what
I get it with the postcards where I start like, I end up with 3 listings with the same pictures because I don't.
Yeah.
Same pictures, delete the pictures and go on to the next set of pictures and stuff.
I usually find out that
you got to go back,
when I get a customer message me and say, excuse me, you know, the picture
That's not Burnley.
Yeah, with something completely different. I'm like, oh yeah, let me change that for you.
Yeah. I did it with some Lego minifigures that Batman and Robin, and I had about 3 Robins, and it was all the other like Batman characters, like the breakout characters. And this girl said, "I'm not being funny," she says, "but that's not Robin." You know, when I looked on it, and it was some guy in a prison uniform. Yeah, you're just like, you know, you just go on autopilot, don't you? Sometimes, but that is when it's time to stop then and give up for the night when it gets that bad.
Definitely. That's the only drawback with doing the sell similar and realist is that, you know, everything's pre-filled, so you have to manually take things off or change things.
Yeah.
Whereas if you start from fresh, you have to fill it all in.
Yeah, so you wouldn't do that.
You have to be very
if you're just doing one listed at a time and finishing, you know, it goes sell similar or I'm finished now, and you go into I'm finished now and then start again. But of course, then you'd only get half the stuff done if you did that, wouldn't you? You know.
Yeah, it's catch-22.
Yeah. You just got to keep on the ball, and as soon as you feel yourself struggling, stop, and you know the work will still be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Sorry, Monty's making noise in the background. He tries to make the floor comfy by trying to dig it up,
scratching it, and he's still not worked out that it's a solid floor.
Yeah. No matter how many times I shout at him for trying to ruin the carpet, he just goes, "Stop it!" He's coming to say hello now. Let me grab Monty. Hang on. Come here. No, he doesn't want to. Whatever. Well, we've been waffling about not much for nearly an hour. Well, actually, just over an hour. So
There's 140 people in the chat, so hopefully they enjoyed it.
Fantastic. How are we doing on thumbs up? If you enjoyed the chat and listening to Ken talk about his business, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you enjoyed it. We're currently on 34, I think, if that's up to date.
You should have said that.
Yeah, you watch all the thumbs down coming. But yeah, it's been good to catch up. It's been too long, so I'm glad you were happy to come on.
Yeah, no problem.
And next week, I think it'll be back to Zahir and I just talking about whatever we come up with. And then we do have another guest lined up for the week after, which is fantastic. But I'll keep that secret for now. So yeah, unless there's any other questions anyone spotted, we'll wrap this up. I can't see any. Let's see if I can find one to end on. Must be one somewhere in here. There's a lot of chat going on.
Oh, Carp Fishing's got a question right at the end. It says, question, in what way has eBay selling changed your life, if at all? I think that's quite a good question to end on.
Yeah. Well, it's give me more independence. You know, it's allowed me to stay at home and be a boss of my own time a little bit more. And it's got me out of taxi driving full time, so it's changed my life quite a lot, really. Progress, but we are getting there. But it's a slow road, isn't it, Zahir? You know that. You know, it's not easy, is it?
It's not easy at all. But like you said, I think what it brings to you and what the opportunities it brings to you are well worth the the hardship, as it were. So definitely, definitely.
I'm over the worst of it now. I think I've got over that initial sort of like that first year to 18 months is. If you're going to quit, that's the time you're going to quit, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
You know, I've got past that now, and I've got a good bedrock of sales, and then I've got something to build on.
Yeah,
it's just getting that ball rolling that's the hard part, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me to answer that question, it changed my life completely. It allowed me to quit a job I wasn't happy with. It allowed my wife to do the same. It gave us a real sense of purpose and something we were passionate about. It allowed us to buy it, and then it led on to doing reselling from a retail outlet, which allowed us to buy a house and then put us in the position we're in now. So yeah, it completely turned my life around, finding eBay. And yeah, that's not an understatement at all. That's just how it is. It changed everything.
It's always better to work for yourself, I think, as well, than rather work for somebody else. Yeah, I find it that way anyway.
It suits you. Oh, I've just had another ka-ching. What's that? Oh, more DVDs. So yeah, Yeah, I think reselling particularly, I mean, working for yourself, I think everyone should perhaps try at least once in their life if they can.
Yeah.
But reselling really, really isn't for everyone. I'm starting to realize that. I think there's some people that just couldn't handle this.
Well, it's like any job, you know. I couldn't handle being a deep sea diver, could I? You know, so it's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the way it goes, isn't it?
Right. Well, there's lots of thanks coming in for the chat. People enjoyed having you on, Ken, so thanks for that. And we'll wrap this up here now. And yeah, if you did enjoy it, give us a thumbs up. We'll be back on next week with me and Zahir for a general chat, and then back on in 2 weeks' time with another guest. So thanks, Ken, for coming on.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah,
and
cheers.
Thanks Zahir for being co-host.
No problem.
And we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
See you later.